Hey guys, it's Key, also known as Blue Dawn Flower, and today I'm going to be ranking some Funkeys. I was planning on making a more in-depth video about Funkeys and like my history with it and like how I liked the series as a kid and stuff like that. And I am going to do that eventually, but it will require much more editing. So instead, what I'm going to do first is make this. So, I made a tier list maker with all of the Funkeys that you can play in the game that aren't story characters. So, Locks, Say So, Jerry, the Henchman, all those characters that were in adventure packs aren't included just because I felt like they had like a different sort of vibe for the rest of them. So I guess we're going in alphabetical order here. Ace. I don't like his aesthetic. I think it's just weird. I don't like the airplane style. I don't like how his teeth are all like gnashy and like it's weird to have like the sharp teeth and the mouth open like that, especially because he's like a plane. He's like a metal thing, but he has like gnashy teeth. I don't really get it. Also, a lot of this is going to be based on aesthetic because I've only played like the main series Funkeys and the Funky Key Island Funkeys. So, the Dream State, Paradox Green, and Hidden Realm Funkeys are mostly going to be based on aesthetic. So, Ace, I think, goes in D tier. Burger. I think Burger's cute. I like cows. It's weird because he has like the ear bumps that the Funkeys have, but his ears are on the side and the ear bumps are his horns. People in the Discord server, the Funkeys Discord server, were talking about how like it's kind of weird that he's just a cow in like a dream world, but I think that's actually kind of charming, honestly. I think Burger at least B tier, maybe A tier. I'm gonna do a re-rack at the end in case I decide to change any of my rankings. Boggle, I love Boggle's aesthetic. I think it's very fun to have like this like cartoony monster, but Boggle's game is not very fun because it's basically just like a clicker, and a lot of the games that require the mouse aren't fun for me because I have to use a trackpad, which makes my reaction time super slow because my laptop only has one USB port and I use that for the hub. I use that for UB, so I can't use like a wireless mouse for any of the thing. I think the game docks off a couple points for Boggle, but I do like Boggle. I especially like how like their story thing is that they're like the cleanup crew and they eat everything. I think that's kind of funny. I'm gonna put Boggle in A tier. Yeah. Bumble. I do not like Bumble's aesthetic. I'm just gonna go ahead and say that. I do not like the cartoonish Yeti. It reminds me of like, it feels like something that would be on a decal for like a tech deck. Like one of those like toy skateboards. It seems like it fits that aesthetic. And it's just not my thing. So I'm going to put Bumble in D tier with Ace. Bones, I love Bones. As a kid, I think Bones was probably my favorite. Maybe not my favorite, like absolute favorite, but was one of my favorites. Because as a kid, I was really into like dark but also cute aesthetic. I really liked Scale Animals, which is sort of like aesthetically very similar to Bones. It's like if you mixed Bones and Lotus. I think Bones goes in S tier. Also, fishing minigame is just so funny that this skeleton dude has a fishing minigame. I think that's really, really charming. Deuce, also one of my favorites from when I was a kid. I like the weird fire aesthetic, like reminds me of like Guy Fieri, or Fieri, sorry. And his game is fun. Like it's a clicker game that isn't boring. Like I think that Boggle's game is kind of boring, but Deuce's game is like, don't know, it's still fun for me, but that might just be like my nostalgia bias talking. I think that Deuce either goes in A tier or S tier. I'm gonna put him in S tier for now. Dot. I haven't played Dot's game yet. Dot, if you don't know, is the rarest UB Funky that was released, at least. Dot was a 2008 San Diego Comic-Con exclusive. Only 2,000 were ever made, so they're very expensive, very rare. I love Dot's design. I think it's really cute. I like how they incorporated like the like spots on a ladybug grants you a wish sort of thing into their story. I thought that was cute. I think the rarity and the exclusivity docks a little bit of points, but I think Dot goes in A tier. I like Dot. Drift. It's alright. I like Drift. I don't think he's bad by any means. I enjoy the pinball game, but it is kind of glitchy. Not as glitchy as Speed Racer pinball from what I've seen, but it can be a little hit or miss sometimes. So I think that does dock off some points. Aesthetically, I think he's pretty cool. I think like having like the speedometer on the face is a really interesting effect. I like the racing stripes on his head, though that's kind of cut off from this image. He's cool. I like him a lot. I think he goes in... I'll put him in B tier with Burger, because he's not one of my favorites, but he's not bad. You know, I like his game. His aesthetic is pretty cool. And he goes in B tier. Dyer. Aesthetically, I really like Dyer, though I think them having sandals is kind of weird. Like, you can't see it in the picture, but Dyer has like sandals. Like, it's supposed to go with like the hippie aesthetic, but it just seems kind of strange. But I do like the tie-dye. The tie-dye is really cute. I think it fits with the Dream State thing, what they were going with. So I'm going to put Dyer in A tier. Fallout. I really like Fallout's aesthetic. I think it's great. I think it fits the theme of Laputa Station being like this like sci-fi adventure world. It makes sense to have like a post-apocalyptic character in that, and so I think Fallout fits that really well. But Fusion Folly sucks. The minigame for Fallout is not good. It's very touchy. If you try to hit the ball in a certain way, sometimes it just like clips through you. It's just not the best. The good thing about that minigame is that the AI sucks at the game about as much as you do, so at least it's fair in that regard. I'm gonna put Fallout... is Fallout gonna be our first C tier? I kind of want to put him in B tier, because I really like the aesthetic, but I don't like the game, so I might move him to C tier later, but I think he goes in B tier. Flurry! I love Flurry. I'm really good at Hectic Halfpipe, which is Flurry's game. I also like how Flurry is pastel for the common and rare variants, because most Funkies have sort of like a bright color aesthetic, or they're dark. And I like that Flurry sort of like branches out from that. I think that Hectic Halfpipe is one of the more hit or miss minigames, because like a lot of people who use the mouse controls hate it, which is why I always recommend using like the space bar and the arrow keys instead, because that way you can get more tricks in without messing up as much. So Flurry goes in S tier. Flurry's very good. The minigame's good. Easy to play. Easy to get a good score in if you use the right control method. Very good. Goes in S tier. Gabby. I don't have like very strong opinions on most of the chat Funkies, because I didn't have any of them when I was a kid, and the functionality for them doesn't work anymore. So again, this is mostly just based on aesthetic. I like Gabby. I like the pink, because not a lot of Funkies have pink, and I think that's good that they included one that's pink. I don't know how to say this. Because like some people in the chat were like, oh, she's too girly, blah blah blah, when they were making their tier lists, but I don't really have that qualm. It's just there's something about her design that just feels kind of off. So I'm gonna put her in C tier. She's cute, I like her, but I don't like her that much. I'm not really attached to her. She doesn't have any functionality in the game right now, so... Glub. You can't see Glub's eyes in this. I really should have trimmed the pictures to make you see them better. What a shame. Glub is just a goldfish. Aesthetically, I like the common one because, you know, he's a goldfish. He's gold. He's a goldfish. Goldfish bowling, I think, is a pretty good mini game. There are times where you can, like, sort of get an exploit to it where you can get, like, a bunch of strikes in a row. But sometimes it'll be, like, a couple pixels off and it'll, like, glitch out. But it's not that hard to, like, get a good score in Goldfish bowling. So, I like that. Most of the Kelpie Basin Funkeys, I think, are pretty good. I'm gonna put Glub in B tier or A tier, because aesthetically I don't really like Glub. I think it's cute. He's got like a funny aesthetic with like the fish mouth and eyes, but I don't like him that much. But I do like Goldfish bowling. I'll put him in B tier. B tier's not bad. Holler. Don't like Holler as much as I like Gabby. I think his aesthetic is really weird. He's sort of supposed to be like a parody of like a radio announcer, which are like loud and obnoxious sometimes. I guess I'll put him in D tier. I don't know if I'm gonna put any Funkeys in F tier, except for maybe the Speed Racer ones now that I'm seeing them at the corner of the thing. I'm like, oh, maybe. Lotus. I really like Lotus aesthetically. Lotus was one of the Funkeys that I really wanted as a kid, but didn't end up getting until I was like in high school. Because Heart Hoopla is like really finicky, you have to be like pretty specific with where you hit the hearts in the game. I think it can go in A tier, because I do really like Lotus. If Heart Hoopla was a better game, I would put Lotus in S tier, but it is not. Lucky. I've heard that Lucky's game is also like really touchy, really finicky, but I haven't played it yet, so this is subject to change. But based on aesthetic, I really like Lucky's aesthetic. I think it's simple, it's nice, it fits the Daydream Oasis vibe. Sort of like Vroom. I really like Funkeys that have like a simple aesthetic that sort of like gives you their theme really easily, and I think Lucky fits that description really well. So I'm gonna put Lucky in A tier, because I think that fits like a really good aesthetic, but with a game that's kind of questionable, fits in the same bar as Lotus. Mall. Again, the Hidden Realm Funkeys, I don't know really much about them, so this is mostly just going to be based on aesthetic. I like the teddy bear aesthetic of Mall. It's kind of a shame that like the very rare variant is the only one that came out, because though I like the very rare Mall, Common Mall would have been really cool, because I think Common Mall is like more of the teddy bear aesthetic, so I think it would have worked a lot better than Very Rare Mall does. But I do like Very Rare Mall. I think it's going in B tier. We might end up going in C tier. Mulch. I really like Mulch's aesthetic. I think Mulch is super cute. I love the recycling theme. I love like the eco theme. The backpack that's a turbine I think was really cute. Again, haven't played the game maker that Mulch is a part of, but I do enjoy a good Mulch. So I think I'm gonna put Mulch in A tier. Nectar. I don't like Nectar's aesthetic. I just don't. I don't enjoy it. So I think Nectar's gonna go in D tier. Nibble. I like Nibble. I don't like him that much. His game is alright. I'm not great at it, not bad at it, but you know, like I got the trophy for it, I got all the items and stuff for it, I got the gem for it, or not the gem, the orb, whatever, Funky Key Island stuff. But I don't know. I don't like him that much. I think I'm gonna put him in C tier with Gabby. Tep. I like Tep's aesthetic. I like him a lot. Again, haven't played the game. So aesthetic-wise, I think the mummy with the eye, I think that's the Eye of Ra. I could be wrong. I like it. And I like a very rare Tep, how like the wrappings are darker and the marking around the eye is like a lighter pink, lighter than the wrappings, but it's dark pink. Yeah, I like Tep. I'm gonna put Tep in B tier. Raj, I like any figure that is based around like a big cat, but I don't like Raj enough to put him in one of the highest tiers. I think might end up going in C tier. I don't dislike Raj, don't like him that much though. Rastro, I really like Rastro. I'm really glad that Very Rare Rastro is the one that ended up getting into production because it's so cute. I love the design for Very Rare Rastro. I think he's adorable. So I'm gonna put him in A tier. Rewind, I like Rewind. One of the better chat funkies in my opinion, but I think I might end up putting him in the same category as Gabby because I don't particularly like the chat funkies that much. Rewind is very cute though. I will just say, Rewind is cute. Rom is the only chat funky that I distinctly remember wanting as a kid because I really liked how his face was like a screen and he had this like cool tech appearance and his like the ear things on the side of his head with the antennas actually looked like headphones. I thought that was really cool because for the other ones, except for maybe Hollers look like headphones too. But for Gabby and Rewind, they don't have that appearance. I'm gonna put Rom in A tier. Yeah, I like Rom. Scratch, I like Scratch too. I remember I absolutely could not play Mixmaster Scratch when I was a kid because I didn't have like enough like hand dexterity to like use the keyboard controls. And I still don't have a lot of hand dexterity, so I'm not great at it, but I'm not that terrible at it. And I enjoy it. I like rhythm games, even though I'm not very good at them. But I think I'm gonna put Scratch in A tier. Because I like him. He might end up going in B. Who knows? Singe. I think Singe looks better as a figure than as like a 3D model because in the game he just doesn't look that cool. But in person I think he does look pretty cool. But I think he goes in the same category as Raj, because like his aesthetic is cool, but not very appealing. Like I like him. I don't dislike him by any means. But just you know, I'm kind of indifferent to him. Snipe. I do like the sort of like Splinter Cell, Tom Clancy sort of vibe I get from this guy, because like that's what I think of when I see like the night vision green spy goggles, because like my brother used to play Splinter Cell a lot when we were kids. I can't remember which Splinter Cell game, but one of them. That's really the only kind of association I have for Snipe. I don't like him that much though, so I think I'm gonna put him C tier. Yeah. Saul. I really like Saul. Saul was another funky that I really wanted as a kid. And I really like Sunshine Links. I think it's a really nice game. I think, yeah, Saul is the only Funky Key Island funky besides the Adventure Pack funkies that I didn't have as a kid. I did not have Saul, but I really wanted Saul. And Sunshine Links is a fun game. Saul is cute. So really, there's not really anything to go wrong with Saul, so I think I'm gonna put them in S tier. Yeah, that's good. Sprocket. I do like Sprocket. I like the robot aesthetic. I really think it fits really nicely. It's cute. I like how, like, the mouth is sort of, like, zigzaggy, like, you know, any cartoon robot. I like how the eyes are sort of like shutters. I like Sprocket. Aesthetically, I like Sprocket. I think he's probably B tier. Sprout, I love Sprout. I love Sprout so much. One of my favorite Funkies ever. So I am definitely biased. Blossom Boogie was one of my favorite Funkies games when I was a kid. Because I liked match 3 puzzle games a lot, like Bejeweled, which is exactly what Blossom Boogie is. So, S tier or A tier? I think I'm gonna go with A tier, but might move to S tier. Stitch. I love Stitch. I know he's like weird, creepy aesthetic, but I think I really like it. Like, it reminds me, it's sort of like Tim Burton-esque, because like when I was a kid, I used to watch a lot of the kids' movies that were made to be sort of creepier, so Stitch appealed to that sort of sensibility when I was younger. Until recently, I didn't know that you could like move to the side when Ghost Stitch chases you in Stitch Stalker, so I was really bad at Stitch Stalker until recently when I was playing it over and over to get the gem for Magma Gorge. So I think Stitch goes in A tier or B tier. I'm gonna put him in B tier for now. Tad. You cannot see Tad's eyes in this, it's cut off. But Tad is really cute. I really like Tad. Tad is good. It's a shame that the commons didn't get released for Tad, because Tad commons are basically just like, you know, normal, what are they called? Tree frogs. It reminds me of like the Rainforest Cafe aesthetic, which I really liked as a kid. I'll put him in B tier. He's cute. Tank. I like Tank. I like the diver theme. I like, I just like him. I like him. I think I'm gonna put him, B or C. Because there's not much to him that I like outside of the aesthetic. But since I put Burger in B tier for basically the same reasons, I think I'm gonna put Tank in B tier. Tiki. I like how Tiki is sort of like a reference to Tiktaalik, who was like the first species to venture onto land or whatever. It's sort of like the origin of Funkeys or whatever. I like that. But Bounce and Break sucks. Bounce and Break is so finicky. It is like the worst form of breakout that I've played. And again, it's probably just because I'm using my trackpad and I don't have a mouse, and I would probably be better at it, or at least be able to have like more of a learning curve with a mouse. But it's not my favorite. I think I'm gonna put Tiki in C tier. Twinks. I like Twinks. They were like in my top 5 as a kid. And I do like Twink's Dream. It's a good game. It's a pretty standard Space Invaders clone, but you know, it's not bad. I enjoy it. It's fun to just like spam spacebar a lot. It's sort of like you can turn your brain off and play it. Aesthetically, it's pretty cute. The Twinks shop has like some good items, some very nice like pastel items. I think I got some of the things for my crib there. So, speaking of shops, Globe has a really good shop. I might use that as a factor in moving them around at the end. Twinks, good. A tier. Flurp. Aesthetically, I like Flurp. I like that it's a vampire, fits the Nightmare Rift aesthetic. The one thing that I noticed when I finally got a Flurp is how, unfortunately, the gem on their necklace, or well, like the pendant on their necklace, not the gem itself, because the gem just looks like a teardrop, but the pendant under the gem kind of looks like an iron cross, which is like not good. And I really don't want to count that against the design, because besides that, there's a lot of good in this design, because it's got sharp angles, it's got like a cool color scheme, it's simplistic, but it's not bad. It's like simplistic in the best way, but it's not too simple. But yeah, I might dock off some points for that, because like when I noticed it, I was like, oh no, oh, that's not good. So I do like their backstory, though, that they're like gardeners, but they're bad at gardening, and they're like harmless, even though they look like vampires. Vlorp, I think, goes in B tier. Vroom. I like Vroom's simplicity, goes a lot with how I feel about Lucky. Like, I really like Lucky, because Vroom is simple. It portrays the theme that it wants to portray. It's Evel Knievel sort of style. Like, usually, like, daredevils have, like, the red, white, and blue aesthetic, which, you know, in my book, patriotism docks some points, because I don't really like people who are like, America, fuck yeah, like, unironically, because it's not very good. And also, Vroom's game, at first I sucked at with the trackpad, but once I learned how to get it to work, I was pretty good at it. So I'm going to put Vroom in A tier, at least. I might move them to S tier. Wags, I think, is very cute. I genuinely love Wags aesthetically. I think that Wags is adorable. However, Wags Words is a bad game. It's like those word finding games for mobile, like Word Cookies or Wordscapes or whatever, but it's just not, it has like none of the fun of those games. And you have like a bajillion words that are like barely words. You know, like, it's not terrible, but it just seems like a weird mix. Like, I guess they made Wags like school themed because dogs are like a common school mascot, maybe. It just seems kind of odd. So though I like Wags, I think I'm gonna put them in C tier. Might move them to B tier. Who knows? Wasabi. I really like Wasabi. Aesthetically, you know, like, kids like ninjas. They're like like one of like the few things that kids like really like to be for Halloween and stuff like that. A lot of like TV shows based around like characters who are ninjas, especially around that time period. I think TMNT was still running at that time. One of the TMNT cartoons had to have been running at that time. If not, there was like other like martial arts themed shows. Like, there was American Dragon Jake Long, and Jackie Chan Adventures, I think, was at that time. So like martial arts theme, it's really interesting. I was really good at Shuriken Master as a kid, and now I'm pretty good at it. I don't know if I'm as good or less good than I was as a kid. I honestly don't remember. I just remember being like really good at it, or at least I thought I was really good at it when I was younger, and I'm pretty good at it now. So good at game, good aesthetic. I am going to put Wasabi in S tier, I think. Yeah, I think Wasabi could go in S tier. Webley, I really like Webley. I love that Webley is just like a cool little spider guy. And like the Webley hut in Funkiki Island is so cute. Like, I genuinely love Webley. And as a kid, I remember I liked Webley too. But the game, it's not great. Like, now I know how to play it better, but like, I used to just like be awful at it. Like, even like recently when I was like replaying more of Yubi Funkeys, like trying to get the Funkiki gem, Webley, just, it wasn't one of the funnest games to play. I think game-wise, I would rank Webley with Nibble, because I think their games were like, I guess they're not unfun to play, but they're not that fun to play. So I think, like, game-wise, Webley would be in C tier, but aesthetic-wise, I think I would put Webley in probably A tier. So let's just compromise and put good old Webley in B tier. Zener. Invasion sucks. It's a bad game. It's not fun. Like, you do a lot better again with like the keyboard controls, but you have to still use the keyboard controls in accordance with the mouse. And if you aim even like slightly off, usually it just like won't count at all. For like if you hit like an asteroid or one of the alien ships. So it's like, I don't know where that would rank for me. Probably game-wise it would be like D tier, or maybe even F tier. No, I think D tier, because like you can still play it and like have some fun with it, but it's just kind of a pain. It's just like a lot of a pain, honestly, and definitely requires a learning curve, even if you are using like the keyboard and the mouse controls. Aesthetically, I do like the simple alien aesthetic. I think it's cute. Not my favorite. I think Zener goes in C tier. Yang, I like the simplicity. I like the yin-yang symbol. I think it's cool. Aesthetically good. Again, don't know much about the Funky Fighters because I haven't played Hidden Realm yet. But I do like Yang. So I'm gonna put him in B tier. Trixie is the only Speed Racer Funky that I have, so I think I'll judge her first. Honestly, I think Trixie's kind of cute. I've had her since I was a kid. I remember the game being kind of fun, like definitely not my favorite Funkeys game, but it was fun. I would play it every so often. So I think Trixie goes in C tier. Speed Racer, I think I'm also going to put him in C tier, because even though his game is atrocious, aesthetically, he's alright. Like, he looks pretty cute. He looks true to the character, and I appreciate that. I think Speed Racer is actually cuter than Trixie in terms of design. But again, since the racing games aren't good, Speed Racer goes in C. I guess the same could be said for Snake Oiler, but since Snake Oiler also doesn't look cool at all, he goes in F tier. He's ugly, he has a non-functioning game, F tier. Bad. I still don't know if you pronounce his name Tejo or Tejo, or Tejo. I think it's Tejo. I could be wrong. So if I am wrong, I apologize. But I have not even seen gameplay of this fool's game. I think the rarity for him docks points as well, because like he was never released at all. There's only like a couple figures of him in existence, maybe like prototypes, but they haven't really come to surface, so we don't know. I think there are a couple that we know that are real. Are there? I don't remember. I'm pretty new to the actual like community scene of UB Funkeys, so like I don't really know that much. I just know that he was never officially released. There are a lot of like custom fakes of him. Aesthetically, he's kind of cool. Like the design on his helmet is cool, but you can't see that in this picture. I'll put Chim Chim in D tier too, because I don't like Chim Chim's design. But from what I've seen of his game, it's okay. Mr. X and Cannonball Taylor. I think Cannonball Taylor is like pretty neck and neck with Speed Racer in terms of design, but I don't like how his mouth is designed. I don't like how it looks like he's like biting his lip or something. I think that's gonna put him in D tier, at least. Maybe F tier. At least Racer X, like, kind of looks cool, though his very rare design is really weird, because it's, like, him, like, grimacing. Let's put this fool in D tier with Chim Chim, and, Actually, I don't know. Hold on, I'm gonna look up a video of Cannonball Taylor's gameplay and watch it and see if it's good. There's only one video of this fool's gameplay for Cannonball Taylor, I mean. And it looks like another generic racing game, like Speed Racer's game and like Snake Oiler's game. It does not look good. I might move both him and Teo to F. Racer X? Maybe D tier just because he looks cool? Okay. So that's my list, like, first impressions. I'm gonna scramble them around now. Lotus, I might move to S tier. That would definitely just show my bias, but, like, I really like Lotus. Glub, aesthetically not a big fan, but Goldfish Bowling is pretty fun. I'm gonna move him to A tier. Rewind is cute. I like the parrot, but again, as far as chat funkies go, he's like the second best, I'd say, besides Rom. Not very appealing on, like, a grand scale. Also, it's weird that his eyes are like the headphone things, because, like, he has, like, antennas on his eyes, and it's just so strange to me. I might move him to B tier, though. Honestly, I might move him to B tier, just because I think he's better. He's more appealing to me than Gabby. Not better than Gabby, he just appeals to me more than Gabby. So I'm gonna put Rewind in B tier. You know what, I'll move Speed Racer down, just because, like, the only thing he has going for him is his aesthetic. But I think I'll keep Trixie here. She's okay. She's got an okay game. C tier. So this is my completed UB Funkeys tier list. Do you agree or disagree? Put it in the comments. I will leave a link to this tier list maker in my description. I made it. It took a while to screen cap all of the things from the Funky Codex. I had fun with it. And a lot of other people have been sharing their tier lists in the UB Funkeys Discord server, so that's been a lot of fun. Hopefully soon I'll put up another video, probably another Butterfly Soup episode. I've got a couple scripted videos on the way, but they're gonna require a lot of editing to do, so they might take a while to come out. But until then, this is all I had for you, so see ya! I like Twinks.